What is up, guys? Scamboli Reviews coming at you with the top 10 recommendations you maybe haven't heard of. I'm talking Attack on Titan. No. I'm talking Naruto with this ugly-ass format in the background. Just kidding, I'm going to suggest this highly underground anime you might not know, Tokyo Ghoul. So if you're newer to anime, like a lot of my viewers are, you've probably seen the basics like One Punch Man, Attack on Titan, etc. So what I'm going to do here is recommend some things you hopefully haven't heard of and hopefully are entertaining to a normal person. There will be a full list of every anime in the comments, a star meaning that it's a must-watch. One last thing, this list will be largely done from memory and maybe a couple episodes refresh me because I'm not watching 6 shows in 1 week until I start getting paid to watch 6 shows in 1 week money. So it'll be like we're chilling on a couch and I'm telling you about an anime I watched hella long ago. Hunter x Hunter is perfect for anyone who grew up watching the OG shonen like Naruto or One Piece and want to experience the same feeling as a bill-paying grown-ass man. In fact, Hunter x Hunter inspired a lot of the themes in Naruto, which became super apparent when you're watching the series. Anyway, Hunter x Hunter is about a hillbilly in booty shorts named Gon. Gon's goal is to follow in the footsteps of and find his father, who abandoned him to become a hunter. Hunters kill monsters, explore unknown areas, find treasure, and so on, but that's not important. There are tons of reasons to become a hunter, including access to information and legal exemptions, so there's lots of different motives and people aiming to become a hunter, leading to a lot of entertaining fights, each one elaborately executed with mind games and unique abilities where a lot of the times the loser dies. I was initially drawn away from Hunter x Hunter because I thought it was some kiddie anime, and god damn was I wrong. The show has a lot to offer its audience, and it doesn't treat us like a bunch of dumbasses. Gon isn't like any other shonen protag, mainly because he doesn't give a fuck. He's also not the strongest or smartest guy on the show by any means because, well, he's a kid. You're into the show believing he's going to be this unstoppable, overpowered main character, but he gets his ass beat again and again because the anime gets deeper and deeper until you realize how powerful the hunters really have to be. The anime's fun with all these entertaining ass fights in handcrafted world. It's well written, which you'll find out during these long arcs that keep you interested, and there's scenes guaranteed to give me chills to this day. If you're just getting into anime, I think it's absolutely essential to watch Hunter x Hunter. It has an excess of different things to provide and entertain you with, and the deeper you get into anime, the more you're going to be hearing about this one. I'd suggest you try to watch at least 10 episodes before dropping if you're not interested, but I really want to say 20. The show gets better the longer you watch it. Also, I'd stay away from the dub. Not saying the dub is bad because, well, I haven't really given it a shot, but the vocal performances from the Japanese cast I feel are top tier. Berserk is the go-to anime for anyone who's accustomed to Western storytelling and not quite used to the warped minds that are middle-aged Japanese authors who self-insert themselves in lolly harems. And really, if you're getting into anime, you gotta at least know of Berserk. Berserk takes place in medieval Europe, allegedly, and follows the life of our main character, Guts. Guts is a mercenary who's only ever known war. One day, after cutting down some people, he's approached by a group of bandits who attack him. Blah blah blah, it turns out the bandits are actually a mercenary group led by a man named Griffith. They get Guts to join them and sort of become the only family he's ever known. This leads Guts into becoming Griffith's right-hand man and doing some real fucked up shit under Griffith's orders. Now I know it sounds historical, which can be extremely boring, but Berserk takes place in a made-up world, so don't worry about that. Anyway, there's tons of different reasons to fall in love with the series and reasons why you should watch, so let me talk about it. Berserk is filled with action and badass moments, but that's not why so many people fell in love with it. The story is absolutely captivating. The main character goes through heaps of development that keep you wanting more. You essentially watch this kid go from a mindless killing machine to a wise warrior, and the characters that he interacts with make you wonder what piece they'll play in the story. Berserk sports a cast of extremely well-written and complex characters that aren't just tropes. You also never have the feeling that you know what's going to happen next. The story is constantly moving, characters are constantly making power plays, all without a ton of political talk. Berserk has a hypnotic story that set me in a trance from beginning to end. You're not going to find many anime that are more well written than Berserk. Seriously, there's so many fucking Berserk analysis videos that pop up in my recommended, it's insane. Anyway, this is one of my favorite stories of all time, period. So if you're already sold, I just want to talk about how you should watch the series. If you don't plan on watching it, just skip this part of the video. Trigger warning! If you find yourself using Twitter or Tumblr very often, or an activist of some sort on social media, maybe a Kick Vic hype train type of person, Berserk ain't for you. There's some horrible stuff here that I think was essential for the plot and Guts' development as a character, so if you're a sensitive bubble person, I don't recommend Berserk. Now, as for the adaptations, there are 2 adaptations of the first part of Berserk. There's 3 movies, each like an hour and a half I think, and a 25-episode anime made in 1998. Honestly, I don't think it fucking matters which one you pick, but I prefer the movies. There will always be some elitist saying the older thing is better. Look at car pages on Instagram. Oh, the old Corvettes are so much better than the new stupid, sexy-ass, fast-ass ones. oh, so quirky. People do this with video games, music, you name it. The 98 anime gives you a totally different vibe with this weird, interesting music and darker art style. I think atmospherically, the old anime portrays a more bleak and sad world. On the other hand, the three movies have this jarring-ass CGI that took me a while to get used to, but most of the time they use 2D animation. And the 2D stuff is insane. I think a lot of the 2D parts of Berserk are phenomenal. It looks better than a lot of anime I've seen. Despite being made in CGI, Berserk has one of the most badass moments in anime ever, complemented by this sick Spanish guitar. You'll know it when you see it. I could talk all day about the pros and cons of each one, but in short, I think that the movies portray a much more refined and realistic take than the old one in a lot shorter amount of time. I also gotta mention that the dub for both of them are pretty good. It's also pretty funny that the old voice acting crew had so much fun during production.
Alright, who's gonna jerk me off?
Anyway, my suggestion is to first watch the three movies, which are all on Netflix. If you enjoy that and need more, watch the old anime, because obviously there's some details that couldn't be captured in the movies. Then, if you really can't stop yourself, this is a perfect way to get into manga. The manga is way ahead of where both the adaptations end, and it's what got me back into reading. And don't watch this 2016 adaptation, please. If you've seen One Punch Man, you might or might not know about Mob Psycho by the same author, which in my opinion is nowhere inferior and in some ways way better than One Punch Man. It's about a kid who's gifted with incredible psychic powers that far surpass even the most powerful psychics by a huge margin, with two twists. 1. The kid wants to live a normal life and be friends with a girl he likes. And 2. He can't let his emotions get the best of him or he'll lose control of himself. So if you've watched One Punch Man, it shares the idea of an overpowered guy who's forced to conceal his power and who really doesn't care about being strong. But it's different in that it feels a lot more grounded and personal. Mob is just a kid who was never allowed to be a kid. Instead of using his powers to make his life easier, he'd rather improve himself and do things the hard way. A ton of the side characters and antagonists that you start off hating slowly creep into being the most lovable and unforgettable characters on the show. And in case having such a lovable guy in cast isn't enough to keep you going, the art is phenomenal, some of the best I've ever seen. It's cool watching Mob go against ghost monsters or even fighting other psychics, and the story is very easy to chill out to. There's bits of comedy, there's action, and serious moments. I think it's pretty much good for anybody. There's also a second season and a dub, so I can see a lot of people knocking this one out real quick. I would say give it about 3 to 5 episodes. If it's not sticking, then don't watch it. But if you like One Punch Man and aren't watching Mob Psycho, you're definitely missing out. Isekai is the hot new trend in anime where a character is sent to another world, most commonly a video game with leveling systems and so on. And I think Re:Zero is the perfect place to start. Our main character Subaru is out shopping until he realizes he's been summoned to a fantasy world packed with demi-humans and magic. Now, if you don't want me to give you a semi-spoiler about episode 1, I recommend you watch the first episode. It's like 50 minutes long. The catch is that upon death, Subaru will respawn at random checkpoints. This leads to extremely traumatic and mindfucky experiences. Subaru might get caught in a seemingly endless loop where there's no way out. Maybe he dies and a checkpoint is at a horrible spot where he can't prevent something. And it's stuff like this that instantly addicted me when the show came out. And I think it's really cool to imagine how I would react being in the same world. There's magic fights, romance for sure, mystery, and all that good stuff. Another thing I really like about the series is that Subaru is just some random dude. He's not summoned because he's the smartest guy alive or because he has a secret power, he's just moved to another world against his will. He responds to his situation like an actual human would, and he's not too stupid or too insanely smart, making him pretty easy to sympathize with. A lot of people hated the guy though, so there's that. But I'm looking forward to what he'll be like in the future. Like, what if he becomes some badass who's died a million times trying to make it out of one situation? If you're not sold on it, don't worry, but you're going to be hearing a lot about Re:Zero, especially since the second season has been hinted at since forever, and I'm pretty sure it's coming out soon. So my verdict is, if you grew up playing video games, you're likely to be interested in Re:Zero. Watch the first episode, and if you're not sold on that, then ditch it. For a while, I believed that anime writers could not be funny, at least to me. The standard Japanese slapstick comedy, having people make huge reactions and stuff, have never done it for me. That is, until I gave Konosuba a chance. Konosuba is a parody of the isekai genre, and if you're new to anime, you don't know what that means, and I feel like a dumbass for suggesting a parody, but I'm gonna keep it going. Kazuma is a kid who's struck by a truck and reincarnated in another world. This world mimics a game where you can level up, acquire new skills, and subjugate a demon lord. However, Kazuma can't do all that shit, he's stuck with a bunch of dumbass useless thoughts. Where most other anime main characters are all noble and want to do the right thing, Kazuma pretty much represents the complete opposite of that. Pretty much how an actual person with a sense of humor would act in the same situation.
勝負をしないか。やっぱりか。僕が勝ったらアクア様を譲ってくれ。君が勝ったら何でも一つ言うことを聞こうじゃないか。よし乗った。行くぞー。ちょ待って。
They have adventures, they go on quests, and nothing goes quite as well as it should. The show is genuinely funny as shit, and the dub is surprisingly really good from what I've seen. I think it's a good anime to get rid of the misconception that anime can't be funny. If you've got some experience in anime, they just say and do stuff that you don't at all expect. Give it about 2 episodes before deciding to drop or continue. If you keep going, there's 2 seasons, so enjoy. Parasite the Maxim was huge when it came out, and it's still relevant today. Parasitic aliens arrive on Earth to take control of humans, becoming man-eating monsters. One alien arrives at a guy's house and ends up taking control of his arm instead of taking control of the brain. The main character is a nerdy guy who's still in high school and develops into a not-so-nerdy guy who fucks. He pretty much goes through the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man transformation, except he's not a 30-year-old man pretending to be a high schooler. It's a horror, sci-fi, romantic action thriller, and does all that pretty well. I think anyone accustomed to American television or movies can get easily sucked into this anime. The parasites develop personalities and integrate with society, so only Shinichi is aware of their presence. This makes him feel responsible for getting rid of all the parasites, so there's constant action and horribly mentally scarring scenes. The character develops a ton from beginning to end, so you're always invested a bit, and the soundtrack uses hard-ass dubstep, which is pretty unique to anime. Anyway, Parasite does what a lot of anime doesn't, and that's being grim and realistic. Not that there's anything wrong with overly bright and flowery stuff, but I've always connected with more serious anime. So if you're interested in a gore-filled emotional roller coaster, I think you should give Parasite a shot. The anime is 26 episodes long, and you should know whether or not to keep going by around episode 3.
Well folks, that's it for today. I appreciate you for stopping by. Now, on your way out, I'd like to ask a little favor. I like to think of us as friends, and friends, they share with one another. In my case, I share a little bit of my heart and soul every time I make a video, and well, you can help out too by sharing my videos so I don't feel like a worthless husk of a man who can't afford a car. Maybe with your friends that are trying to get into anime, maybe a coworker. Well, it looks like that's all the time we got. And remember, someone always cares about you. I'll see you later now.